Welcome to AstroEnergy with astrologer angel Shelley Overton. Hello, this is Shelley Overton, and you are listening to the AstroEnergy Show on Blog Talk Radio. I'm very happy to be here with you. It seems that no matter how long I try to get the show going in advance, if it's this show during a Mercury Retrograde, I can guarantee you it's not going to go the way I want. Anyway, I'm very excited to be here with you. And let's see, I have a lot to talk to you about today. We're going to go over everything astrologically of what's going on in the sky, and I'll get to that in a minute. But first, I want to let you know that I am an intuitive astrologer in Orlando, Florida, and I've got a website that has suffered from having the Mercury retrograde. So pretty much right now I've got 5, maybe 6 websites that are down, and that's because I had my account hacked, or has a virus. It has a virus. I guess it's the same thing. So it turns out that I haven't been able to have my website up for about a week now. So I've been dealing with that, and I keep going back in and deleting all the files that they want me to delete, and because I do my own websites. And yet it keeps showing up, so it's like one by one my websites have just become unusable. So I've decided, and this is kind of my new tack, that whenever something so profound happens, I pretty much cut and run. I just say, okay, I've got all these websites, I'm paying X amount of dollars a year to host them, and so I'm going to take this opportunity, I'm going to find another way to do them. And I'm going over to Wix.com, and I'm creating one website that has everything I have, and then when I get everything cleared up with the others, I will just redirect them to that one Wix site, and I'll be able to use it for everything I do. So I'm very excited about that. So that kind of brings me around to the energies that are going on now, and it's a very clear example, I guess, of exactly what this energy is doing for us. So currently we have a 27-degree Cancer rising in Orlando, Florida. I've got it for 5:03 p.m. And I do porphyry, Porphyry, which is a type of system. And if you ask me exactly what the point of porphyry is versus any of the others, I couldn't tell you exactly how they determine it. I just know that I have done the different charts and compared them relatively, to what is going on and how accurate they are. And multiple charts have shown me that porphyry is about the most accurate to what goes on. So that's the kind I use. So today we have Jupiter retrograde in Leo at 18 degrees. We have the nodes north at in Libra at 12 and south 12 at Aries, in Aries. We've got Saturn at 3 degrees Sagittarius opposing a 29-degree Taurus moon. So I am going to ask with that if everyone can hear me okay in the chat room. So that way I know if any of these planetary positions are afflicting me right now. Excuse me. So we've also got a square between the moon and Venus/Neptune and Saturn. So when the moon goes into Gemini, which is going to be momentarily actually, I know I posted on my website or Facebook that I started keeping on top of it again after my move. I wasn't able to keep on top of it during the move, but now that I am moved in and semi-settled, I have the lower half of my house completely unpacked, but now it's chaotic in my bedroom, and I'm going to get to it, but the upstairs is still kind of messy. So let's see here. Moon goes into Gemini at 5:36 Eastern, so right in the middle of my show. So let's hope that the second half is as good as the first half, because I know Moon in Taurus is at 29 degrees, means it's going to be fine. But as soon as the Moon goes into Gemini, anything can happen. And so buckle up. Okay, we've got Uranus at 13, right next to the South Node, Aries. We've got Venus at 1 degree Pisces, Neptune at 6 degree Pisces, and Mars at 12. So they are kind of clustered there at the beginning degrees of Pisces. And Venus just went in yesterday to Pisces. So it's kind of a feeling of lovey-dovey, wanting to cuddle up. And, you know, I can tell you with all the cold weather, I mean, I'm in Florida, and I've been cold all day. It's 61 degrees, and I know that seems like lovely spring weather for the northerners, but when your blood is thinned out for, 95-degree heat and 80% humidity in the summer, 61 is pretty chilly. So my fingers are cold. Anyway, Sun is conjunct Mercury retrograde in Aquarius. So the Sun's at 8 degrees Aquarius, Mercury is at 12 degrees Aquarius. So he is in opposition to Jupiter. And he's got till about the 6th of next month. I'm going to give you an exact date here. I've got to find my glasses. They were just right here and now. Oh, there's a pair. I bought 2 new pairs of glasses, or 2 new pair. I don't know if it's singular or plural. Anyway, I've had coffee. I don't know if you could tell. Not coffee, excuse me, tea. Caffeinated tea, which I forgot it was caffeinated. That was probably a big mistake before the show. But it might actually be to the benefit of the callers, because then my mind is really popping along, and I'll probably give you twice as much information as you would normally get. So Mercury goes direct on the 10th/11th of February. So we've still got a couple weeks left of it. But in that time, he's going to be getting to 1 degree of Aquarius. So I personally can say, thank goodness, he's not going back into another sign, that he's just going to stay there at Aquarius and, not get back into Capricorn, that we're going to stay in this high energy, high cognizant time. And, also it means clear weather, because Mercury is a definite indicator of weather, and in Aquarius it means things are clear. It's an air sign, so it's clear air, and it can be windy or breezy, but definitely with Pluto and Capricorn and the Sun in Aquarius, it's a little bit cool. And, of course, we've got water. Well, there's a lot of inconjuncts going on between Pluto and Venus and Neptune. So you've also got a square between Venus now and Saturn, which is the storm in the northeast. And, that kind of thing. It's really interesting, the more I do it. Well, I've done it for years, but weather can really be predicted by astrology. And I know Anne Ortley, who is my wonderful, I consider her a mentor, but she's amazing at predicting these things too. And, she really can call the weather, and I pretty much can do it too. I just don't always say it when I see it. But, Aquarius is always going to be chaos. Mercury retrograde is going to give you something, especially if he's in opposition or square to other planets. And Uranus, when he's afflicted, which of course he is right now with Pluto, the square there with Uranus and Pluto, coupled with the square between Saturn and Neptune/Venus, and a wide square to Mars, going to be difficult weather. No two ways about it. So, okay, all that being said, let me see. Was there anything else I wanted to say? I'm sure there's a lot to talk about, but I wanted to get on to the sign of Taurus this week. Every week I'm going to be doing a different sign, and this week is Taurus's week. So Taurus is the sign that rules the second house of the zodiac, and the second house is the house of money and possessions. So the first house, as we discussed last week, is self and ego, and the second house is the energy of the body, how the ego manifests in the body and comes down into the material plane. So initially we have Aries, and again, each sign builds on the last one, makes up for things that are lacking in the last one, and sometimes negates the energy of the previous sign or even the coming sign. So it really is kind of a cycle, and that's why it's an amazing practice and study of astrology. But so the first house gets us into the physical realm, and the second house gets us aware of our body and aware of the material world possessions. Of course, in this world, we're capitalistic, at least in this country, and so it is about value and currency, and that's what the second house rules overall, but it is ruled by Venus, the planet Venus, which is the goddess of love. So I wish I could tell you more about the mythology of Venus. I honestly did not study a great deal of mythology, and it's something that I think probably might not happen until I'm retired, which I probably never will be. So when I'm old and can't do my usual day-to-day high-energy routine, I'll sit back and read about mythology. But until then, I also pick it up a little bit along the way because it's quite interesting. But Venus is the goddess of love, and so she imbues this energy, this love of aesthetics and beauty upon Taurians. And Taurus, as I have learned, it's one of those things that when you study astrology, especially out of a book and probably at an impressionable age, you read something and it kind of sticks with you, and then every time you explain it, you go back to that phrase. But it really is the sign of the farmer and the country squire, which is something that I learned probably the very first time I read a book on astrology. It's about really the visual I get of Taurus is a country gentleman in England in his manor house wearing Ralph Lauren clothes with his hunting rifle down by his side, his wellies on his feet, his plaids and tweeds, the little jaunty chapeau, and his dogs by his side, goes out hunting, beautiful hills, rolling dales, comes back to the manor, sits down, well, probably Lord Grantham, maybe. But I would say Downton Abbey probably is watched by a lot of Taurians. It is the energy of coziness and tactile qualities. Taurians love to touch. They will go in a store and feel everything that they go by because they just have to touch it and feel it. They love beauty for the sake of beauty, and they look at beautiful things as something to possess. So the two signs that need possessions are Taurus and Scorpio. And Scorpio can even be possessive about people. I suppose Taurus is also a bit possessive about people and relationships because both signs bring the energy of romance or love into the realm of the material world, or I guess in the case of Scorpio, it's more an ideology of possession. It's like I want to possess you in a spiritual way, in a soul sense, but it also does rule the eighth house of joint possessions, whereas Taurus is more about you are my possession, and you're a material good. So sometimes the Taurians can look at the people they love as possessions. That's not blanketed because, of course, in astrology there are many other planets and lights that we look to, and asteroids now, and other dwarf planets being discovered this week. It's exciting. They haven't named them yet, but I'm really hoping they name them something positive, as astrology is about symbology. So keep an eye on that. I post stuff on my Facebook page, my Astrologer Angel page on Facebook. You can see what NASA puts up, and I'm definitely following a lot of NASA information coming out now because there's just so much that they're discovering out there in the heavens. It's really awesome. But if they name them a positive female name, I'm hoping that it might negate some of the other strong energies that seem to be conflicting right now. Okay, so anyway, so Taurus is the country squire, and even women. I have a friend who's a Taurus, and I have to tell you, I have Jupiter in Taurus, so Ralph Lauren is the quintessential designer for Taurian influenced people, and my friend that's probably her number one designer is Ralph Lauren. And if you look at him, he probably has a strong Taurus, if not being a sun sign of Taurus. I don't really know. But he definitely designs to that Taurus sensibility, which is cozy and traditional, and definitely keeping in mind money and affluence on some level, because Taurians are about money. So I have a mother who has a Taurus and Saturn, or excuse me, just the opposite, Saturn and Taurus. Both my children have Saturn and Taurus. And that makes a person very aware of things like the stock market, the financial pages, the comings and goings of the economy. It's just so natural to them to be interested in that. And I see that in all three. So, of course, other influences make a difference, and I could get into that too, but I don't want to get on too long about that with the show, because I do want to take calls. So Taurians are just a really solid, down-to-earth sign. It's ruled by the bull, and yes, they can be extremely stubborn, and they pretty much have no problem taking their time. If they aren't ready to move, they're just going to settle in until they are. And so they have a really strong compass when it comes to, okay, now's the time to move, which makes them really good with money, especially in the stock market, because they're willing to ride out the storm. They're like, yeah, it's okay. I know what's going to happen, and it's going to go this way. And then they follow that, So they're really good with just biding their time, and it makes other people who are maybe more speedily inclined to get really frustrated. But the other thing is, too, I've noticed, if you have strong planets in Taurus, like in education, say you have Mercury in Taurus, you could easily take longer time to really register what is being taught. And it doesn't mean that you're dumb or dumber than the rest. It just means that you have to process it, and you take your time to see the angles and really let it register. So if you know a Taurus, they're stubborn, and they may be slower than the rest of us, but they're very solid. If they are upset, there are some Taurians, they're a physical sign when it comes to temper. So they could smash things and, put their fist through a door or something like that with their anger, but they're very slow to anger. But definitely, I think in romance, you just have to watch out for them wanting to look at you as a possession. But I think overall, because they are ruled by Venus, they have the interest of love at the heart somewhere, or at the very least, beauty. So that's the sign of Taurus. And now let's see. So it's only 20 after almost, and we're going to take some calls. So if you'd like to call in, I haven't even given this out for a long time because I usually have so many callers, but I still have callers, but not as many today, so there's some room. The number is 347-994-3365 if you'd like to have a reading, and I could probably get you in today, so please call in. Okay, 661. Hi, who is this?
Hey, Shelley, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. What's going on?
Do you know who this is?
I'm guessing Sue?
No, Chips.
Okay, I was wrong. Chips and salsa.
Chips.
I was right. Go. Okay. See, you know what? Because I don't think I have your prefix by your name, or if I do, you call in.
Oh, right. It's
yeah.
Skype gives me a 661. I have no idea why.
Oh, that's okay. So yeah, I've got you down here. So I've got you as salsa. November 18th. Is that accurate?
Well, I'm gonna ask about my daughter Sarah.
Oh, okay. So let me get that information.
Yeah. She's
Sarah Chips?
Yeah, there you go. Sarah Chips.
Okay. Sarah Chips. Okay.
She's my daughter.
Now, is she an H or just an A?
H.
H. Okay, I put that on there.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to put you in as Chips and Salsa under the surname, and that way she'll come up right away, and then I'll still be searching for you somewhere. Okay, what's her birthday?
5/6/92.
Okay. Yeah. So you were able to really get a lot of information. She's your Taurus. Awesome. What time was she born?
1:38 in the afternoon in Hollywood, Florida.
Hollywood. Oh, that's so cool. Most people don't know Florida has a Hollywood, and we also have a Beverly Hills.
That's right.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of funny, isn't it?
There
Okay,
you go.
make sure. Yay! So my program, ironically, is not changing the date on me when I go to save it, so I'm very happy about that. Okay, so what is it you'd like to know about her today?
She has applied for grad school for her physical therapy program, and she made the top 100, and she's supposed to find out this week if she made the cut of 40, and so we are all on pins and needles, and we want you to shed some light.
You know what I'm realizing? Positive light. Okay, so if it's not positive, I can't tell you. Got it. Okay. Okay, so let's see. So she's got, and she was born, I'm double checking, 1:38 p.m.?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so she has a 23-degree Leo rising, and there's something going on behind the scenes. Jupiter, which rules higher education, is in her 12th house, and it's retrograde. So there may be a delay of some sort with the information coming from that. Let's see, and Mercury's retrograde too, which even though I say the 6th house, usually I say it is work and medical things. Right. Virgo rules that house, and I think it's also education or teaching, that kind of thing. So Mercury retrograde on the sun means that there's some kind of pulling back of information, or maybe not necessarily hearing right away, because it rules communication as well. So I'm just concerned that she's taking it personal somehow, like if she doesn't hear or if things aren't going quite the way she anticipated, that you know, she might take it a little personal, but she shouldn't take it personal. I think that it's going to be better. How long do you have a definite timeline of when she'll hear, or is it kind of up in the air?
Well, they started calling people on Monday.
Okay.
And it's supposed to end by Friday. And we're at Wednesday.
Okay. You know what? This is what I don't like about today, per se, is because the moon is at 29 degrees Taurus, which is kind of like nothing comes from that, or it's either nothing comes from it or the choices have already been made. And that's kind of what I feel about this. So
there's a good chance it didn't happen.
I don't think now is a really good time for what she's trying to do. I can't say for sure. The moon again goes. It's like 13 minutes. It goes into Gemini, and in Gemini it is communication. So, she could hear today. But from the moment of the question being, let me do the moment the question was asked, because you pretty much did it now. We'll just do that and see what that says. It's 53 minutes in, so it's literally, in terms of astrology, 7 minutes away from the moon going into Gemini. So, I think if she hears, she'll probably hear today. I think if she doesn't hear today, then it's probably a no.
Okay.
But, yeah. Pardon me?
I said, alrighty.
And the other thing is she's got Mars. Well, everybody does. Mars is within 3 degrees of Chiron. And so that is kind of a little bit of a deep emotional thing. Interestingly, right now, the ascendant where I'm talking to you from is at 1 degree Leo, which is also right on her Chiron in her chart. So I think that there's, honestly, the Jupiter retrograde in her chart tells me that she's got some self-doubt going on. Does that sound familiar? Has she told you about that?
Actually, she's just nervous because she's, worked so hard. And she was excited that she made the top 100. But,
yeah, it's pretty amazing. How many did they choose?
40.
40. Wow. So they have to choose 40 out of 100. So
4,000 applied.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I don't like giving negative answers, but I also
I know.
I can't. this is what I do, so I'm just telling you what I see, okay? And the moon will
Absolutely.
be in opposition to Saturn, which is education, and it's at the latter degrees of Taurus, and then, like I said, within 15 minutes it goes in, and then it directly opposes Saturn in the House of Home and Family for her. So I think this is what I would say. If she does not get it, there is some protection going on for her, and that there is a connection to her leaving. Now, tell me where it's at. Where would she be at if she got
Wichita.
it? And that's not where she is now?
No.
Okay. So that...
Kansas City.
Okay. Because it's showing me, definitely Saturn in Sagittarius says that there is an opportunity, well, not an opportunity, but more an inclination that she has to own going away from the family. But because Saturn is directly in the middle of that part of her chart, it means that I think she is going to be moving away, but Saturn retrogrades coming up this year back into Scorpio, which is going to trigger the last few issues she has with being, like, the deep connectedness to the family unit. And I think on some level, energetically, she isn't quite ready to fly the coop.
Okay.
Yeah, and, and honestly, looking at her chart, that would be probably the reason I give, if it doesn't work out, that energetically, like, she's really worked hard for it, I understand, and we have aspirations and hopes. And I don't want to be negative. I really don't want to be negative, because I think that everything happens for a reason, okay?
Right.
So
right.
I hope I'm wrong. I can tell you, I hope I'm wrong. The thing about Mercury retrograde, especially in Aquarius, because Aquarius is like the sign of the genius in the zodiac, and this girl is really sharp on her game in what she does, and whatever
right.
like work/school environment she's in. She's very much about, this is what I'm doing, and she knows, like, she's so in tune, and
right.
I think she's a genius. I mean, she's very, very sharp. I'm thinking that the path that she thinks she wants isn't necessarily the path that she really wants deep down inside, and that there's something that has not come to fruition yet. So,
when you talk about her and the family kind of thing, could you be talking about, because we've talked about this of late, my mom is, ill again in Chicago, and her and my daughter, she's an Aquarius.
Right.
And her and my daughter are very close.
Right.
And although there are no signs that she's going to pass within days or anything like that, I have a strong intuitive sense that she's trying to make amends so that she can pass over.
Right.
And I'm wondering if that's the separation that you're seeing.
Well, with Saturn in our House of Home and Family, Saturn is the elderly, and so that definitely could have something to do with it. But I would say for her chart, the Pisces energy is probably more strong, and also Pluto and Capricorn with the energy of the grandparents. So let me see real quick here. Okay, so yeah, and then the Jupiter in the first house too, because the parents are opposite. So the 7th and 8th house are her parents, and then grandparents from them would be the 12th and 1st, respectively, depending on which side of the family the grandparents are. So it would be yours, which would be that. So I'm sorry, it'd be the first or the second. Duh. It's the second. So it's the Virgo house, and of course, this is hard. It gets a little more convoluted here because I'm trying to explain astrology while I'm answering your question. But the house that's ruled by her maternal grandmother would be the second, which is Virgo ruled, and Virgo is health. And of course it rules the 6th house, which is where all the Aquarius energy is, and Mercury retrograde, and Vesta, which is also home and hearth. So I can see that there is a connection to a female figure and, potential emotional hurt from that situation.
Right.
let me look and see when Vesta's going to be a factor here. Short of having to try and explain, I don't generally like to explain when I look for death. I mean, I could do it privately, but I don't like to necessarily say it publicly. I don't know, it's just superstition probably. But yeah, Vesta conjuncts her Saturn in March. So there's going to be some energy going on with that, as far as the structure of what's going on with health within our life, and actually also soul groups, because Aquarius rules your peers or people that you connect to, and of course Saturn, again, Saturn rules elderly, the elder generation. So, I would say if you're talking about some connection between your daughter and her grandmother and something like that, it would probably be closer to March. And I can tell you for everyone, March is a very big month this year. March is when Pluto and Uranus square for the very last time. It is going to be a month of transitions from one type of life to another type of life in more ways than one, like metaphorically and literally. And it's like every time that we have this strife that goes on, like when Pluto and Uranus have squared directly, you see, and I explained this to someone earlier today, you see things going on with the Middle East or terrorism, or some major news story happens during those times. I think one was around Thanksgiving, and then this is the very last one out of 7 for the last 2 years. So it's really potent. It's very powerful. And interestingly, she's got Uranus conjunct Neptune in her chart. I think, what year were you born, if you don't mind my asking again? 61. So you have Uranus-Pluto conjunct in your chart. So, that energy of having very slow-moving planets, the wider orbited planets right next to each other, this energy is extremely powerful in our lives. It will shift and move things. So for her, she's got Pluto in the sky on Uranus for her. So her generation has Pluto right there on top of Uranus, which was conjunct Neptune. Neptune just moved into Pisces, and then Uranus in the sky right now is squaring Pluto, which they're in a Uranus square, her generation is. And we're in the energy of Uranus-Pluto conjunct in our chart. Now they're fighting each other. They're battling for control. So it's really disturbing for us and for them. And for her Uranus and Neptune are in Capricorn, and Pluto is within 3 degrees of Uranus, which is the unexpected. And then Neptune, it'll take a little while. I think by the end of this year, probably Pluto is going to be right there by Uranus and Neptune for her. But let me double check. And I just get so carried away with all this. It's so fascinating. May. It's not even the end of the year. It's May. So by May, between March and May, her life is going to be changing so much that, quite honestly, I mean, again, I'm not saying that she won't get it. I'm just saying, like, if she doesn't hear by today, chances, I think, percentage-wise are going to be less. But her life is going to take a tremendous turn between March and May. Pluto is right on Uranus at that point. And in March, Pluto squares Uranus, which is where Pluto is in her chart. That's on top of Uranus. Is a really powerful. It's like she's having a conflict between autonomy and tradition and her family of origin. And there's this, I mean, it's really, I would honestly say, looking at her chart, and because I do this reading with the position of the planets at the moment you asked me the question, that she's got a lot of deep emotional issues that are coming up for her. And honestly, I think that she needs family around her right now.
Yes, I would agree.
Especially with Saturn in the house of home and family.
I would agree. I think this year, when you talk about people, transitioning in and out in March, I can think of 3 people that I have a very strong feeling will be transitioning out, and I believe 2 of them will be the beginning of March.
Sorry to hear that.
And I think that is going to put her in a very huge emotional,
And the other thing is Mars goes into the house of death and rebirth for her come 22 degrees Pisces. So let me just see when that is.
I'm hoping I'm wrong, but I'm believing by the end of the first week of March, one of them will occur.
February 11th is when Mars goes into her house, the 8th house, which is a scorpionic house. And then literally when Mars goes into Aries, which is the 20th of February, she'll have a Mars return. So Mars is activity. And for her, that means it's almost like the rebirth of herself and her ability to take action. And so it's about action being taken probably by her father on some level. I mean, does she have a good relationship or a bad relationship with her father?
She is deceased.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, don't be. She still has a relationship with him.
Awesome.
That's a whole nother show.
I'm sorry, that's what?
I said that's a whole nother show.
Oh, yeah, really. That's awesome, though. Well, what happens is when she has her Mars return, she definitely will be able to take the energy that she learned from her father, because that's his... Oh, I take it back. I'm sorry. Aries threw me off. Aries is masculine, but actually where Mars is right now in Pisces is her house of the father. So I'm sorry. No, so I should have gotten that. Duh. Yeah, Mars in Pisces is karma and the afterlife. So she has a real intuitive connection. But then when Mars goes into Aries, then honestly, so that's when there may be a little bit of conflict with you, actually, because you're the 8th house to her.
Okay.
So and I'm going to tell you right now, as the mother, it's separation. She has to separate, and she's going to be much more in tune with separating come that time, the end of February, early March. Okay. So I don't know what timeline, if she gets this the school thing, I don't know what the timeline is, but there probably will be more of a separation towards independence come then. Yeah, definitely all of March, but I think it's going to be a strong upheaval. Like there's this strong right now Piscean immersed in the soup and the connectedness, and then come March when Mars goes into Aries, and also Uranus is up there in Aries, it's going to be like, okay, I'm done. I have to get away. I can't do this. That kind of thing. Okay. So I think coming fairly soon, but I think it's not quite there, but it's definitely coming. And then Jupiter will go direct in April as well. So once Jupiter's direct, and, he'll go back to almost all the way to the beginning. And then when he goes forward, I think by August he's going to be at the degree of her cusp. And then it's going to be all bets are off. By fall, she will be flying for sure. Okay. Okay. Well, please let me know. Text me. Let me know.
I will.
Okay.
Let us know how we can get a reading with you until your site is up.
Oh, sure. Yeah. You can get a hold of me by emailing me at Shelley, SHELLEY, at astrologerangel.com. And I also want to say I'm going to be on Feather's show, too, coming, I think it's February 8th, which is a Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. Cool. So if you want to catch me there, I'll put up the information on Facebook. Actually, Facebook is probably the best way to get me, ironically, because I'm trying to find other means of networking, because they keep restricting my access more and more. And I'm like, I've got to get somewhere where I can expand, and they keep restricting. So. Yeah, it's ironic.
You rock, Shelley. Thank you
You're so
much.
Sweet. Thanks, Chips, and keep in touch. I love hearing from you, okay? All right, take care.
Right.
Good luck to your daughter. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
Oops, I cut her off. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm going to do a real quick break, and then 1 minute. I'll just do my usual break, and then I'll come back and take more calls. In these days of stress, running around, responsibilities, we all need a little place to go to make it all better. Is that place sports? Football? Or maybe you like to garden, paint, or just listen to music. Wherever your happy place is, you can find a shirt or mug to reflect that happy place. At myhappyplace.rocks, we have a variety of lifestyle products, including iPhone cases, pajamas, and pet items, all with beautiful, colorful designs, which help us go to our happy place. Stop by on the web for great gift ideas for others and yourself. myhappyplace.rocks. Lenny Pickett appears courtesy of Random Act Records. Check him out at randomactrecords.com. You are listening to the AstroEnergy Show on Blog Talk Radio. And my name is Shelley Overton. I'm an intuitive astrologer in Orlando, Florida. And I am your captain for the next 19 minutes. So anyway, let's steer the ship back towards the callers. Oh, let me say again real quick. The website that I just listed, myhappyplace.rocks, that is like the one website that is not affected right now. So that is up and running. And so I would suggest if you get a chance to go by and look and give me suggestions. If you see something that is similar to what you want and maybe it's not up there, you can tell me where your happy place is and I'll make you a t-shirt. How about that? Okay, let's go back to the phones. 818, hi. Hi. Who is this?
My name is Brittany.
Hi, Brittany. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing really, really well. I wanted to reach out to you because you're so amazing. You're so informative. Always.
Sweet. Oh, that's very thoughtful of you to say that. That's really sweet. You know, I just do it. I honestly am driven to do this. I just love to do it and teach. So it's nice when I get feedback because I really don't do it for the kudos. I do it because I enjoy it. So thank you so much for saying that. That really means a lot to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so what can I do for you?
There's several things going on in my life right now, but right now I'm so interested and drawn to love and relationships. And there's a gentleman in my life whom I really actually care for, and I know he cares for me, and I kind of wanted to see what you see coming up astrologically between the two of us.
Ooh, okay, exciting, fun stuff. Okay, well, I would say out of the gate, well, that's interesting. What is his sun sign, first off?
He's a Cancer.
Ooh, okay. Tell me the date, because you have a Cancer moon. I want to know how close his sun is to your moon.
He's June 27th, 1990.
Okay, June 20th. So he's kind of right on your cusp of your ascendant. So there's definitely a subliminal connection to this man, for sure. And you know, the sun in Cancer, which is the sun is the man, and you've got moon in Cancer, so you're the feminine. So it's kind of like you two come together in that nurturing home, loving space, which is really awesome. I mean, that's a lovely energy. Okay, you have Venus in Aquarius, and right now, of course, we've got Venus just went out of Aquarius. So how long have you dated him? Because, you know, I'm wondering if you started seeing him or were interested while Venus was in Aquarius.
Well, we met back in June, and he lives in a different state, so we've just been communicating.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, I don't know where Venus was at that time. Hang on a second. I'm curious now. See, this is how I learn because I'm so nosy. I'm like a little nosy. I have a Scorpio rising and a Scorpio moon. That makes me nosy. And my moon is conjunct Neptune, which makes me nosy about love. Okay. So Venus was in Taurus at that time, so that's really cool. Okay. So Venus in Taurus, that's nice. And that rules love, of course. And so that's good. Well, Venus right now just went into Pisces, so it makes you have all the feels, as my daughter says. I got the feels. And as we continue on, the sun is heading towards your Venus, which kind of shines even more light. And right now, the sun is in the house of commitment for you. And so, you know, definitely there are opportunities. The only thing I would caution is because the sun is conjunct a retrograde Mercury in Aquarius in the house of commitment, it could be like this skittishness. Like there's like, okay, it's yes 1 minute and no the next. So just be aware that, you know, if he seems to be in and out right now, that's contributing to it. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, and then, see, the other part of it is you got Venus, Neptune, and Mars all in Pisces, which make us really into loving love. We just love all the warm, it's kind of like divine love. And Pisces, Neptune and Pisces alone, it's like, I love everybody, and I don't, it's unconditional love. It really is. So, that's out there. And let's see, what else do we have here? You've got Saturn on Uranus, so that's interesting because that's also kind of an area. I mean, there's so many some subtexts in astrology that I'm looking at that kind of even go to the next level that I don't want to explain, but pretty much it's another commitment from romance kind of energy. So, and again, is he long distance?
He's in two states over.
Yeah, so he's long distance because he's not in the same place. So Saturn on Uranus. So so this is what's going on with, I see Saturn in your chart on Uranus in your natal chart, the transiting Saturn. So that means that there is this man who is long distance, and he is potentially giving structure to the side of you that wants freedom, wants to go and expand, wants to be larger than life, but also he reflects the autonomous side of you and the need for freedom. So like that's why he is not living right next to you, is because for you need someone right now with Saturn on Uranus that allows you a certain amount of freedom of movement. So there's like a romance, but there's also like, I don't have him right here telling me what to do. So it's like a buffer zone, so to speak, right?
Right.
And let me see. So I think that it's going to be probably steamier coming up in the end of February. Well, actually, no, what did I say? I was really hoping I could remember that instead of having to look it up every time. When Mars is in Aries, and that is all of March. So, yeah, and also it's going to be really busy for you in work. It's actually going to start to kick in really quickly, like in the next week. You're really going to start to feel. But also I want to caution you, too, because Mars will be on Chiron in your house of career, that there could be some karmic issue that comes up from, either a relationship with a coworker from the past or a past job that might be a thorn or something that does hurt your feelings. Okay.
Really?
Yeah, just be aware that there could be some kind of karmic situation in the job that you've dealt with before. And I'll give you an example. I mean, it's a different realm, but it's a similar idea. I moved into a condo way back, I may have said this last week, I don't know, way back in the 80s, 88, I think. And within a week, the man who lived across from me was arrested. And he was arrested for like murdering multiple prostitutes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he was arrested a week after I moved in. Now, many people would be like, oh, what a neighborhood you moved into. But see, I saw it as like my energy superseded his and cleared out the neighborhood, right? So the very same thing happened in my neighborhood when I just moved into this townhome 2 weeks ago. Last week, my neighbor was arrested. So, and I think it was probably for drugs, which is very Piscean. So that's the kind of thing, like it's a similar situation coming up again for you. That's what I'm saying. So there's something that you can look forward to probably within the next week that might be like, whoa, I already did this. Why is this coming up again, kind of thing with your career, okay?
Oh, I see. Okay, all right.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But, yeah, as far as the plan's concerned, I think that there could be some freedom issues going on. Like right now it seems really great, but when you want to take it to the next level, is he going to be able to? Because when you want to do it, Mars is right on Uranus and your Sun and Mercury, which squares his Sun in Cancer. So you're going to be talking about something and he's going to be going, well, I don't know. And it could be with your career. Like you might actually feel like, okay, I need to make a move. And so there could be some talk, again, come March, Mars is going to be right there triggering with the Uranus square Pluto. And of course that Pluto's opposing his Sun, and then the Aries and Uranus is squaring his Sun. So what's happening is his life's changing, And this is the final push for him. Is this what he wants? And it's really going to be a major life change for everybody come March. So that could be on the horizon for you as well. Like you might go, I need to move forward. Maybe I want to move to where he's at because Saturn's in your house of work. So in the house of work, you're wanting to like really get going and move forward. And in Sagittarius, which is your whole work house, you need to be traveling. You need to be moving. You got to have that freedom.
Yeah.
And so I'm seeing sales. Do you do sales? Because, man alive, if you don't do sales, that's what you need to be doing.
Everyone keeps saying that I'm so good at it, but you know what's so interesting? I'm in the entertainment business, and I just got new representation for commercials.
Oh, awesome. Well, that's
I'm
sales. Commercials. Hello.
Yeah. I know.
So, yes.
I'm waiting for Mercury Retrograde to end so that I can sign my contract with them.
Yes. So after the 7th, didn't I say 7th or 10th? Okay. All these plans keep changing at the beginning of the month, so I'm losing when they are. Hang on a second. I'll look it up for you. I'll tell you when Mercury goes direct.
Okay.
I'm on the wrong page. Yeah. I'm even going to give you the date and time because I'm just looking at a chart.
Awesome.
I'm going to go into actual February and tell you the exact date and time that it goes direct. And I would give it even a week after that to just kind of get up to speed, even though he's clear. So Mercury goes direct at 9:57 a.m. on Wednesday, February 11th. So 211, which is really, 11 is always an angel number.
Yes.
And 2 and 11 equal 4, which is also a softer money number. So I think that's good. So, yeah, after February 11th. Okay.
Okay, then I'll do it. Oh my God.
No, but I just want to hit this home. Marketing and sales and commercials, advertising, all of that, including marketing, including anything where you promote something or promote yourself, that's all sales to me because it's all part of the same Aries energy. Okay?
Okay. All
yeah,
right,
and
so
I definitely see opportunities to travel. Pardon me?
I need to be out there promoting myself.
You will. When Mars is about to go into your house of career, so of course all the Pisces is like film and photography or anything related to that kind of like, you know, if you think about movies are dream world. They're kind of like how you live out your fantasies. That's why they rule film. That's why Neptune and Pisces rules film, is because it's about the illusion. It's about the dream, the fantasy world. So, yeah. I mean, it does come together. So there's going to be, it's interesting that you said that you're going to sign a contract. Yeah, definitely Mars and Pisces. And then when it goes into Aries, you're off to the races. It's going to kick in fast for you.
Wow. Exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, March is and then the sun will be in Aries then too. So the sun will be up there. And the sun in your chart definitely right there in your career house, you're in Aries anyway. So it's going to be like your big month. Yeah, it's going to be big. I would say you might want a reading around then because there's so much going on at that time. But anyway, I appreciate the phone call.
Thank you, Shelley. You're always so helpful and informative, and you have such great energy. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're a sweetheart. Thanks. Bye, Brittany.
Bye-bye.
Okay, let's see. We've got 856. Hi, 856. Who is this? 856.
Hi, this is Laura.
There you are. Hi, Laura. How's it going?
Oh, okay. I'm looking for work, so that's what I was calling about.
Okay. So you want me to tell you what's in the stars for that?
Yes, please.
Okay. Well, you have Saturn in Aquarius, and I'm telling people may not know this who are first-time listeners. I have a database of everyone who calls by their area code, so I can easily grab the people who have called more than once, and that's how I have your birth information. And I didn't want people to freak out and go, wow, she's really psychic. But, okay, so for you, with the Sagittarius rising, you have Saturn and Sag in the 12th house, which means there are a lot of subliminal karmic issues that you're going through right now. You're starting to really feel the need to move. Again, Sagittarius is about freedom of movement. In the 12th house, it's also about spirituality because the 12th is a karmic house. It's Pisces, which is about the past, sentimentality, and then you have Sagittarius, which doesn't tend to like to slow down and be sentimental about things. And there's a certain amount of you that right now you're having to kind of look at the world in a different way. Saturn in Sagittarius is asking you to look more to the intuitive side of things and really connect to spirit. And, again, I'm getting the word compass because, it's about travel. And, of course, you have to have that inner compass to guide yourself through life. So that's like a big theme for you right now. And, okay, so work specifically, Taurus, money. Okay, I'm looking for some of the triggers here. Yeah, you've got Moon in Pisces and Saturn. So you've got a retrograde Mercury right within 4 degrees of your natal Saturn in the house of money, in the second house, in Aquarius, and the sun is right there. So I don't necessarily see any triggers, for the money thing, but the career, definitely the career with the Saturn is, right now it's probably difficult with Mercury retrograde for you. It's probably uncomfortable because you are getting a lot of psychic information, which is the Aquarius. It's channeled information, and it's not able to come out the way you want it to. It's kind of like you're making the effort, but then it's backfiring, or it's not happening when you want it to, or there's kind of this conflict going on with that Mercury retrograde right there. I'm just trying to see when the sun hits your Saturn, though, and I want to see what that is because Mercury is influencing the sun right now and your Saturn. So hang on a second. Let me just find that for you. So do you have any questions while I'm looking that up for you?
No, I'm just really interested in finding a job.
Okay. Hang on. So it's looking like the beginning of March for you, too. I mean, I sound like a broken record, but Mercury hits your Saturn and stays there, moves forward literally March 1st. And actually directly on your Saturn the 3rd, but moving forward and everything on the 1st. And then the sun, which is also, the sun brings light to that. That's why I look to the sun, because the sun's going to say, hey, I'm here and I'm shining my light right on that energy. And that's February 6th when the sun is on your Saturn. So that's a really good time for your career. Now tell me what you do, because you would be really good with computers, anything related to computers, electronics, data, tech, things like that, or entrepreneurship.
I develop training for companies.
Training for what?
Companies, different companies, industries.
Oh, okay. Training. Okay, well, that's interesting because Saturn is in Sagittarius right now, and that's where I would look for training. And Mars is in Pisces, so right now that's really cool because Pisces, I hate to tell people this, but I'm sorry, but Pisces has a say, and pretty much right now Mars conjunct Neptune, Venus at the end degrees of your house of money in Pisces, and then Saturn in the Pisces house. Right now everything is about having faith and the vision that you have, and it's going to happen, but again, it's not going to probably really take off until Mars gets into Aries, which is going to be the beginning of March. Or did I say that? A second. I just said it with the last caller, and true to Pisces, I've lost what I just said. Hang on a second. Mars in Aries is third week of February, so the 20th of February. So I think that's going to be a really good time. I'm just looking at where that hits in your chart and how it hits. And you know what? When Jupiter goes direct in April as well, I know people don't want to hear, long time. I don't know that you necessarily have to wait a long time. I think that something could definitely come your way financially within a week, because Venus will be going into the third house, which means, fruition of money. So definitely I think the beginning or the third week of February, all of March, definitely something's going to, and then for sure, April when Jupiter moves direct. Okay?
Okay, thanks.
All right, thanks for the call. Everyone else, thank you so much for calling. I'm sorry I couldn't get to you, but that's the end of the show this week. Take care and stay dry and warm. Bye. Thanks for stopping by AstroEnergy this week. If you would like to get a hold of Shelley Overton, you can get her at astrologerangel.com, on Facebook at AstroEnergy or Astrologer Angel. The music was provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com with additional music by Ironwood Rain. Check them out on the net at ironwoodrain.com.